Thought I'd make a video on how to change the brake pads on this car. There are a couple videos online, but they're not too detailed. So this is my first time changing brake pads on this car, and there's definitely some things to note here. First of all, there's these two pins that you push out. I use this to push it out, so put it in there, gave it a quick tap, and it popped out. See, there they are. Then you just wiggle them out. It's easier if you push here to take the pressure off, and you can just pull them out. Let's call that the easy part. So once you get those two pins out, bottom top, then you move this little bracket here, and then the stock pads are tough to get out because they're glued. So I'll show you what I had to do to get them out. So here's my MacGyver solution. I put a lot of tape so that I don't chip the paint, and then I took you could use this big screwdriver or pry bar to really use the dampeners here to wedge them out. Just be careful. If you're planning to reuse the stock pad, it's not difficult to chip the stock pad, and well, I mean, you can still use them, but they might leave a little scarring on your rotors. So yeah, just be careful, pry it out, put a lot of tape here so it creates a cushion as you pop these out. But yeah, these are really glued on, and that's the only solution I could think of. Maybe you've done some track days, maybe the glue is melted. I've only done one track day. It was raining, so it wasn't hot. It didn't really do anything to the brakes, but I'm switching over to the DTC 60s, and these pads are definitely not going to cut it. They're already getting a little wonky. So yeah, I'll keep continuing this process. There you go. You can actually see the glue literally stuck to the two calipers. Huge pain in the ass. So I did a good job pulling this one out, but the inner is actually a little bit harder, mainly because there's not as much inboard room. But we'll see how if I can do as good of a job with that one as I did with this one. All right, so I ended up doing a pretty good job on this side as well. So this, you really have to, one other trick is to try to push them in a little bit so that the piston goes in and you got a little bit more wiggle room to rock them back and forth. That helps them separate from the glue, and then you can pry them out a little bit easier. Again, I think the tape is crucial so you don't chip the paint. And on this side, you've got the sensor, the wear sensor, so I always remove that and just zip tie it somewhere else. Once this sensor wears out, you have to replace it. That's when you get the light on the dash. So I guess for a daily driver it's important, but on a track car you're always checking the brakes to see where they're at, and you pretty much know how much brake pad left you have every day. So yeah, time to reset these, which are actually pretty easy. You can do them by hand, or you can stick a little bit of a pry bar and gently just push them back in, but they go in pretty gently. You can tell they're not that far out because these pads are pretty new. So I didn't get a chance to wrap this up. Unfortunately, it started to rain, started to get late, and wasn't able to record the last part of this quick video. So just a couple of things here that I wanted to note before we wrap this video up is, the bleeder. There are two bleeders on this car, two for each piston. So I just showed you the front. Here's the one on the back. It's just something to keep in mind. You definitely don't want to forget that there is a bleeder in the front and the back. Otherwise, you won't get all the fluid out on this caliper. So just something a little bit unique that I wasn't used to. Then the other point to note is I did not transfer over these weights, these dampeners as they're called, I think. I guess you could, in theory. I think you can knock them out of the stock pads, but it's not something I did. These are going to be track use pads only, so the weight is a problem. Lighter is better. And yeah, they're going to be noisy regardless of whether we add these or not, just because of the compound and how aggressive they are on the rotor. What else is there to say? I think overall this is a pretty simple brake swap. It's not too difficult of a thing to do. A novice should be able to do it. It just takes a little bit of time. And you know, there's definitely no special tools needed. You really just need a punch to get the pins out. Again, just be careful. You know, you don't want to scrape the paint. You know, that's something I was very cautious of. So if that's something that's important to you, use a lot of tape to cover anywhere you might make contact with. Other than that, you know, these are track pads, so probably this paint's going to eventually start to chip, brown, and you know, get ugly. And at that point, I probably won't be taking care of it as much as I did right now. But you know, right now it's looking beautiful. They're looking nice. I definitely want to take care of them, and you can see right here that it's not difficult to chip this paint. And honestly, my calipers were not painted that well from the factory anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised if this starts to happen sooner or later. But anyways, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching this. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Oh yeah, quick note here is the front and the back bleeders, they're 11 millimeters. Really, that's the only tool you need. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next.